Welcome to Better Soul Podcast. This is Frank Christ. We going live. As a guest today, I have Jill and I have Trent Brown as well. So they're actually from Nubo. I think you guys already heard about it if you guys watch, my podcast and all that. So today is just our first live. We just want to do it like every end of the month now, like Friday, the last Friday of the month. We just talk about, anything that you guys want us to talk about. We can talk about fitness, anything like well-being, as you know. I'm gonna let my guests actually introduce themselves, so they're actually gonna tell you guys, who they are. But today, Jill, she's gonna be the one actually gonna just, guide the conversation. So if you guys have any question, feel free to ask. All right, we can answer any kind of question that you guys have. So yes, Jill, I will let
Yeah,
you introduce yourself.
awesome. Well, thanks for the invitation to be here with you all. And my name is Jill. I'm the co-founder of Nubo 3 Lifestyle and also the founder and creator of New You Cooking and Consulting. And I'm really excited to be here with y'all. And again, like Phone Crease said, if anyone has any questions about health, wellness, fitness, anything in between, we are here to answer and really just come on and hang out with us.
Great.
Oh,
Yeah, straight.
I guess it's
It's you
on
know.
me. Threat Brown, a variety of different things that I'm interested in, but I know since being here today, I'm also one of the co-founders of Nubo 3, which is a lifestyle platform for people to get married to your clarity of understanding of a better version of your current self. This is the information that we provide for people and allow them the opportunities to be able to build upon future possibilities in their own right. And also, I am the founder of TIJB. This is just the body because the body does what we tell it to do, and it's primarily about strength and conditioning and calisthenics and body movement. So those are my primary focuses. And again, for Christ, I'm happy to be on your space with you and sharing it with Jill. That's where we at.
Great. So let's do this. Jill, so what you want to talk about today?
Well, I think that we should talk about
Just your
well, first
camera
I
if you
have a
can
question.
move a
Yeah,
little
Mike,
bit.
hold up. I need to be more in the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
No, no, I mean like yes, a
Yeah,
little
just
bit
move the
again.
camera
Just a little bit.
Okay,
Yourself a
hold
little
on.
bit.
other way.
The other way? This
Yeah,
No,
way.
other way.
no, this way. Again, more,
Keep
more, more,
moving
more, more, more. One more time. Yes,
right
perfect.
there.
Yeah, we
Okay.
got it. Yeah,
Right, because it's all about balance and aesthetics.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I think that we should first start talking about the importance of our eating
Yeah.
and why is it so important to be in the know of what's happening in our food supply. How do we be more in partnership with our local farmers? And now is the season that we have access to a lot of fresh produce,
Uh,
especially here in the Pacific Northwest. How about over in the UK where you're at? Are you guys in summertime right now? Or is it opposite seasons?
I think it's not really opposite. We are getting into summer, so yeah,
Okay.
pretty
Yeah,
much the
we're
same
we're
thing to be
getting
honest.
into summer. We just have been blessed with some really nice warm weather here recently. But
yeah.
um but
Recently,
yeah, so huh?
recently is it is an accurate statement. Recently, because it's been
Very
all bad.
recently.
Oh, and being that we talk about nutrition, so I want to ask Phone Crease something. So, how is it
Yeah.
with you guys is eating your food supplies out there? Because when you start looking in America and you look at those alphabets, the C and all this stuff, I don't want to say too much because they might ban our conversation. But we
Hmm.
got health departments out here that regulates our food, and a lot of our food that they put out they consider to be extremely toxic and cancerous. And this is the type of food in America that they legalize in the grocery stores. They stamp it with that this meat may cause cancer. And we put it out there.
Hmm.
How are the food supplies out there in the UK?
Oh man, I think in the UK it's really bad because I think people, what I realized, a lot of people they don't have the knowledge when it comes to nutrition, right? People people don't know how to cook.
Mm,
And then people struggle when I have a lot of people like they want to lose weight, they want to do this, but I think like the whole system, the way it's built up, is not made for people to kind of eat healthy. They don't encourage people to eat healthy. We just eat whatever we have, like in the store, like like what do you call it again? The fast food, and you have
Hmm.
processed food. That's the only thing people eat. So people have zero knowledge when it comes to food. So Yeah, especially English like kitchen as well is not as popular. We don't really have like such a big, you know, when it comes to nutrition, there is not such a thing as English, you know, like kitchen. Like we don't really good at it. So it's
Mm.
very bad. I would say it's very bad, very bad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw something in my Instagram feed this morning, and I knew about it for a while, but just kind of forgot about it until I saw this. And it's this company called Safe. Hold on, I gotta go to Instagram. I think it's called, because I don't want to give wrong information. But basically, it's this company where it's gassing our produce.
Yeah.
And they show this video, and they just have this huge warehouse, and they put all these boxes of produce, and put this toxic, gas in this chamber. And
Mm,
basically it's supposed to preserve our produce.
Mhm.
And the surprising thing is that they do it to organic produce as well as conventional.
mm,
So it's like, makes me think, is there any food that is safe to
Yeah.
eat? Or do we literally just have to grow our own food and really, like I said before, connect with our local farmers versus buying produce mainstream in the store? What is it? Where is it coming to?
Yeah, it's all bad, 100%. I would agree with that 100%. So, because I understand me now, here go my ignorance playing a part. Because I was always under the impression that over in the UK, the food was way better than the consumption foods in America. Because America is the Western civilization where it's
mm,
all bad. But to
mm.
hear you say that, that like bring a new perspective on my views on how I see things.
Yeah, because the difference is, I think in America, the only difference is everything is large in America.
Yeah.
That's why
Mm,
it's known. Like everything that you guys eat is like is always big. Even if you see like the large popcorn here when you go to the movie is extra is probably the extra larger where you guys are. The burger here, our burger gonna be this side, you guys are gonna be like double. So
yeah,
everything is actually big. So American people, that's why you guys actually are in terms of being a consumer, you guys consume a lot
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah.
Everything is big. Cars, house, everything is
right.
just big. And
People,
that's kind of yeah, well, people as well. When it comes to like people being overweight as well, I think America is one of
right.
the
Oh, man.
the place where people are really overweight.
Believe
So
it.
that's the reason why when you see compared to like especially the UK, America, you guys are bad just because you have you know just the culture, like they push, they make people eat like fast food, all that. But in Europe here, it's just as bad, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Mm,
same country like France, they're a little bit much like they don't eat as much as here. But I think all those English speaking country, that it's the same culture, like, and the
Mhm.
people now, the poorer people get, the more they wanna go more throughout processed food because it's actually cheaper. So,
mm.
Interesting.
So the product that I was referring to is called Smart Fresh,
yeah.
and it's a product put out by AgroFresh.
Hmm.
And basically, Smart Fresh technology halts the fruits and vegetables natural ripening process to prolong freshness.
Yeah.
Um, and they market it as being safe because they don't put the whole chemical. It's like hydrogen is
Mhm.
how they like market the gas. However, it's like more than hydrogen. Um, so it's really a scary situation of where we're at in our food supply. And I think that as we continue to grow and evolve, it's even more important to have a greater understanding of how to survive on our own, not just alone, but in smaller community,
Right.
because we are going to have to rely on each other in smaller little communities within communities to be able to sustain as we move forward.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that it's important for people to be aware and in the
Hmm.
know of what is happening on a global scale. And with that being said, learn how to eat in season. So it takes a little bit of research, and getting used to. But if
Yeah.
we are able to eat more in season, that means that the products that are in season now are more nutritious than if they were not grown in their particular season, as well as there's an abundance of these particular types of produce that's in season now. You can have more access locally versus buying at the grocery store.
Mhm.
So it's also a way to support local business, which is uber important in the economy today, to keep things as local as we possibly can. And I understand that in some areas it's not possible to do that.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is to be able to do the best that we can and have an open mind to learn more information. And when we have more information, we can do better.
Yes. I mean, I completely agree with you as well when it comes to that. But what do you think people should? Do you think people should like? What do you think? How do you think society could change actually for people? Because everybody doesn't have enough money to kind of like eat well. Because I know like you know a lot about food. You know, you create like meal plan for people. So like, how do you think people should do when it comes to eating good and then without
Well,
spending too much money? Do you think is there is
yeah.
not there is such a thing?
Well, Threat had his hand up. What were you going to say, Threat?
Well, I think I can answer. I can say what I was going to say after you give the
Mm,
information in correlation to this, to the question that phone questions asked.
mm.
Okay, so repeat the question again, please.
I say like everybody talk about like eating healthy, but do you think like you can actually eat healthy without spending too much money? Because people when they don't have enough money, they prefer to go spend it on processed food because it's actually cheaper. You can't feed the whole family. But do you
Yeah,
think you can actually eat healthy and then still save some money if you don't
I
have
don't
enough?
I don't think I know.
Yeah. Okay.
And the reason why is because I know this because I am at the store shopping, multiple times a week because I like to buy, the freshest ingredients as I possibly can.
Mm,
And and creating meal plans for people are on a budget. So getting dry beans versus canned beans is more nutritious and it saves money.
mm,
If you have to buy frozen vegetables, then frozen vegetables are just fine. As long as there's no like added sauces and added sodium, but frozen vegetables are totally are good. Um, Also, a lot of times in the dollar stores, to be honest with you, you can buy frozen vegetables at the dollar store
mm.
that are the same exact thing as if you were to go to a grocery store. And honestly, sometimes, in the grocery store, you can buy like peas for 89 cents,
Yeah.
whereas at the dollar store it's a dollar, or $1.25. So you just have to understand that you have to be prepared, because when we're properly prepared, it prevents poor performance. And taking the time to be prepared is where people can save money. So shopping the ads,
Mm.
making a list of what are you going to prepare, and utilizing some of the same ingredients is also going to help you save money.
Hmm.
Like roasting a whole chicken, that way you have the meat of the chicken, and then you can use, pick off the rest of the meat and make a chicken salad, and then you can use the bones and make a chicken stock, and then you can use the chicken stock and you can make a nourishing soup. So there's a lot of different things that you're able to do. You just
How
have
does
to
it
have the time.
work with the chicken stock? I never understand how people use the bones and all of that. How does it work?
Yeah, so basically you take a whole bunch of bones and some celery, carrots, onions, maybe some different type of herbs, and
Mm,
basically you are slowly simmering the bones. You know, bones have minerals and bone marrow and different nutrients within
mm,
the bone. And so, and like collagen and everything, collagen is really good for our skin, our hair, our nails. It's a really essential nutrient that we need. So,
yeah.
boiling bones to make a bone broth is basically just the stock that you can use for a soup, but it's a lot more nutrition than just using water for a soup
Mm,
stock. A lot more
Sure, sure.
flavor.
it makes sense.
And
Yeah.
I'm and I'm gonna add to that part too because um, when I see people, I realize systems has created these acidic foods, these toxic
Mm,
foods, and so they create them for a purpose. And not only do they
Mhm.
create the acidic foods and create them for a purpose, but they make them excusable for people to purchase.
mm,
They advertise the high price of a healthy lifestyle. People is under this facade that a healthy lifestyle is like too expensive because this is what the rich people do. The rich people eat healthy, and fail to realize sometimes a lot of rich people just eat just as trashy as the next person, unless they done hired cooks that'll be present in their homes on a consistent basis that, is making meals. You take the average person that's entrepreneurial and constantly busy and constantly working, they seldomly have time to be at home to
Mhm.
even cook good meals or even to sit down and have a good meal. They're always on the go. So my thing to affordability, I agree to what Jill said, is just people taking the time to realize how things can work. And then we start looking into reality of things. What it matters the most, like we were sharing in our live video the other day. It's like what matters the most to a person when it comes to consuming. So when Jill brought up the fact of let's talk about, our eating habits. If we eat bullshit ass information, people feed us trash information all the time. So people get under the perception that when we talk about eating, a lot of the things we do with Nubo 3 is about food for thought. These are the
mm,
things we want to feed your mind. We want people to be fed intelligently and soundly, and so they got a full understanding, like a full stomach of good healthy food, a full understanding of nourishable information, and apply it. So, what's more important, your health or going out to the club and buying a bottle of Hennessy? And if people are not trying to weigh those options because the classification of addictions and the things that the addictions that are in the acidic foods, and people
Mhm.
don't look at that. These sugars and these sweets is, the common denominator. One of the most addictive things on the face of the planet is sugars. And no wonder why the things that people crave the most becomes the sugar components. And then or realizing, but not accepting or eating the truth that a lot of the fruits produce a lot of sugars that's beneficial for the body too. But we get wrapped up. And so people can go and spend crap loads of money on Louis Vuitton belts, crap load of money on Gucci, spend shitload of money on getting a tune up on an expensive car, dudes spending money after money on haircuts once a week. It's like all of these things can be reduced if people just make different sacrifices because they're sacrificing their health to feel and look good when you could be literally sacrificing that sensation to actually live good. It's not inexpensive. It's not expensive at all. It's very inexpensive. It's just people make poor choices on what they want to consume and should be consuming.
yeah, I
But
think I agree.
and the part that I was going to add to that is that and nailing down the fact that society doesn't make toxic foods for no reason. It does is because the health food, the food farmer, because it's chemicals and medicines in the food farmer and big pharma. Those are the best partnership and relationships because big pharma's like, hey, we're working with the food supplies, and we know that the food keep producing that toxic foods, which make people hecka sick, which they're gonna have to come to me. That's like
Yeah.
me having a relationship, understanding that the bad
Mm,
streets got a healthy relationship with the tire manufacturers. It's like this is not a no-brainer to me. Bad street equals more money in rubber. So I'll tie all of those things in when it comes to our health.
but do
Those
you
Yeah.
think do you think they do that because sorry to call you, but do you think they do that because they cannot feed the whole population if we have to keep eating healthy?
yeah.
Is it
And
because of that?
Okay, so when you come out here, when you start doing more research, I mean, but it's global. We can find information everywhere. Now we're looking at, now they're contaminating, when we was talking about the little, when they was talking about this
Yeah.
beginning. Now, information is coming out to where they couldn't get people to take the thing personally. Now they're injecting the same nanoparticles inside of the foods. Now it's, over here in America, you got people like the Gates Foundation that's buying all of the crop foods to make manufactured food. You know what I'm saying? So they're monopolizing the health industry. They're taking away certain supplemental things that we can use and contaminating those things, because now they know that under this 2-year pandemic episode, a lot of people start thinking more healthy. And so now it's like, okay, they're starting to think more healthy. So now curb even the acidics into the healthy contents of everything too. So these people know what they're doing when it comes down to curbing and keeping themselves on top. They need sick people in this world in order to make the biggest portions of their money. They don't need healthy people.
Right. And in school, so some people know that I'm in school to be a functional nutritionist. Some people don't. But one of the first modules that I learned about was the evolution of the modern diet. And there have been 6 key factors to get us to where we're at today with the situation. The first one was the agricultural revolution. The second was the introduction of refined sugar. The third is the industrial revolution. 4 is rise of big food. Number 5 is the digital revolution. And number 6 is the chemical revolution. And foods today are very different than 50 years ago. Today, foods can be described in one word, and that one word is hyper palatable, meaning foods are engineered and designed to be palatable and appealing, but they are deficient in adequate nutrition.
For real.
So it goes back to, this is all part of the grand scheme of society.
I agree. And can I add to that? It's like the things that we feed our kids now, most people look at it from a standpoint of, well, their kids, their immune systems can take. So it's like body's toxic, not Cheerios, but Lucky Charms and Captain Crunch, and it's got all of this.
Yeah, especially the breakfast, what they feed, what they have every morning.
It's got rat poison in it, rat asterisks in it, and it says it's on the boxes and stuff. And so people don't think it's a big deal, but then we look at our grandparents who all suffer from diabetes, high cholesterol, but all of those things started to stem into our grandparents coming up in this space of when they was kids, when the food started to become more contaminated, and then that's when it started to become an issue, because over time, like you say, back then, food was pretty healthy. It was naturally, organically grown. Animals had to really eat the leftover farm products that they didn't process, so now, we look at some documentaries where they're literally grinding up trash and turning them into hog pellets, to where they feed the pigs and the cows, grind up plastic in, it's like, and when we know these things, it goes back to palatable.
Hyper palatable.
Palatable. So now it goes back to those things because they make these things taste so good. And they taste extremely good. But when a person is really thinking, and I've learned that even by associating myself with New You and eating the meals that Jill prepared, I eat those meals for a long period of time. And then I decide to step away from that for a second and go try something what I normally would eat from the store. And I can taste the chemicals in the foods. I can taste the chemicals in the snacks. And it's like, that's a big difference. Once you cleanse or fast away the gunk that's on our palates, because this stuff, it covers up our palates. And once you can, cleanse yourself from those things and try the same thing differently, then you will start to tell the difference in chemically based foods versus naturally grown foods. And it's harder even now to even say what is organic and what's not organic, because they flood in the air with so many chemicals. The soil's being fortified with so many chemicals. So now when we even grow new things, if these seeds aren't passed down for generations, because I believe in my heart that a lot of people that are in the powers to be and that are family oriented into these big families, these people literally have seeds of vegetables and plants that's been passed on for like the last 4 to 5, even probably 6 generations. So their tomato seeds is not genetically modified. Their tomato seeds has been here since they great grandparents was living, and they just passed that produce on throughout the family bloodline type of stuff. And we don't get action at those things because everything's been whitewashed and just smutted over, honestly, at the end of the day.
Yeah. So let's give people some ways that we can take initiative and what can we actually do, because this is so we're all 3 of us are solution-based individuals. We like to provide education, inspiration, empowerment, and give solutions to a situation. So one of the big things that we talk about on the Nubo 3 Lifestyle podcast is mindset. And mindset is the most powerful tool that we have. And I think that the first thing that somebody can do to change the situation is to empower your mind, to understand that there has to be a greater understanding in order to make a shift. I think that, so number 1 is your mindset, deciding what you are going to be committed to doing. The second thing is fasting. It's so important that a person does a fast. And Threat, talk more about why is fasting important.
Well, I'm a big faster, and some people will probably say I fast too much sometimes. But one, fasting is a spiritual alignment. It allows you to tap deeper into inner self. Me and Jill, we do this breakdown on Nubo 3 about internal self, external self, because there's 2 deities that we're dealing with. When you can break down and strip away the skin, the muscle, the bones of a person, then what you come down to your neutral nervous system, your natural nervous system, which consists of a brain, wires, veins, your electrical components, spinal cord. We're not even incorporating stuff like the heart yet, even though there are important components, the heart and the lungs and the liver. But the most primary aspects of a person's nervous system, it starts with the brain and the spinal cord and those things. So that is what's living. The human body doesn't live. The human form is not alive. It's that nervous system that's alive, because remember, it controls everything. The mind gives information to the body to do things. The body can't make decisions on its own. So what is really alive and what is really living is that internal thing. And that's the what about people, not the who. If I was to ask you, well, who are you? You could tell me who exactly you are. My name is Phone Christ. I live in the UK. Then I ask you, what are you? Then you're like, I'm not a what, I'm a person. But then when you look deeper within the person, like the power is in the unseen. And we know this. People believe in God and they believe in the Most High. And you never seen that before, but you believe so much into it. Just like that internal self. So again, if you was to strip away your physical form, what do you got? You got 2 eyeballs that sit on top of a brain, no mouth, a spinal cord, and nerve endings that touch every tentacle on a human being body. That's what's alive. That is the living deity. That's what we are. And people don't want to face that. So we're truly ugly and hideous by sight, because if you strip it away, it doesn't look pretty. And when people see that, as much as that is the bottom line truth, people will go right back to identifying themselves as the human being, which lets me know that these are zombies walking around with just a form, because with no identity of true self, internal self, you're just here to be exposable. You know what I'm saying? So you serve no purpose. So fasting allows you to develop your inner spirituality and your central energy space. We're electrical existences. We're electricity. One of the things that me and Jill found out through research is that we realized that it takes 120 volts of electricity to kill somebody. Right? And when you look inside of the human anatomy, The human anatomy is consisted of one cell in the human anatomy is equivalent to 1.4 volts of electricity. But then when you start to break down the human anatomy, there's over 37 trillion cells inside of the human anatomy. 37 trillion times 1.4 volts, that's over a few trillion volts of electricity. And when you start to break that down, how much power do I really have? Me, internal me. How much power do I really have? And it's equivalent to 70 billion volts, lightning bolts. Yeah. So imagine that. That's the energy surging inside of every living creature on the face of this planet. You got over 7 billion lightning bolts worth of electrical power surging throughout your frame every single day. And people don't even understand that. I can tell it to people like, oh, that's crazy. No, get it. Do you see what one bolt of electricity do to a tree?
Right.
I imagine your body housing 70 billion times that. You get what I'm saying? That's power. This is why we can rid ourselves from diseases. This is why we can self-heal ourselves. Because the radiation within our human frame, it destroys anything that doesn't belong. But when we don't know that, we don't activate that. So we can't fight off disease. That's why these things that enter inside the body, it destroys us. The body doesn't have a purpose, with an exception of us mentally having the purpose of being here, which is a deeper story. But fasting helps a person tie into that. And the more you fast, you rid yourself from the bodies. And I learned that even through fasting, I did a master cleanse with Jill. She showed me what a master cleanse was. And I did the master cleanse and I flushed myself out. Now, when I flushed out, it flushed out all of the toxins, but it elevated my electrical abilities, you know. And so now it just puts you on a different frequency. So that's the importance of fasting. Outside of the spiritual aspect of identifying self, fasting helps you just rid your body of toxins and allow you a fresh start for the most part, you know. And then you be mindful of what you start to put into your body and track the things that we eat from that standpoint. And food is electrical. So eat more electrified foods versus this processed foods, which dumbs down your electrical components.
Yeah, I think what you're saying, it makes sense. But, and then again, a lot of people, coming back to the COVID time about the V word, a lot of people was actually against. But the funny thing is, people can be against it or they haven't have it, but they are still eating the bad food. That's why I feel like there's a problem between the information, right? Because if we really understand the way nutrition work, the way human body work, if people have information about what the food that we eat, the impact on our body, I think people should be more careful about, whatever you put in your body, because it doesn't matter how much you love yourself, like how much you trying to be careful, or how much you scare because you don't want to spend too much money, whatever. If you really know what the impact of whatever you put in your body, I think you're going to change your way to live. The same way when we give our kids the breakfast as well, we love our kids. Nobody want to hurt the kids. Right. If you know the impact of whatever the food that you're actually giving to your kids going to do to them, I think, you're going to change. I think people are just not getting that thing seriously. They're not really trying to process it. People are being emotional, but they're not really trying to process it to actually decide to live by it. I don't know what you guys think about it.
Yeah, I think that people know that it's important to take care of our health, but I think that people are so addicted to food that they don't care until you personally are faced with a situation where your life is on the line.
Yeah.
And until that situation, people will continue with the same pattern over and over. And it's actually like pretty deeply rooted, because food, the way that we eat as an adult, is passed down from generation to generation. So when things are passed down from generation to generation, it becomes a tradition. And when a tradition takes place, a tradition then becomes a accepted way of doing things or being. And so we have all of these traditions that are based around what? Eating and food. So we're bombarded with food every waking second of the day, and nourishing ourselves is important. That's how we need to like sustain ourselves, the body. But at the same time, we have to be more mindful of what are we feeding our body, because we literally do feel the effects of what are we eating.
Mhm.
And so I encourage everyone, you know, eat crap. Eat crap for 3 days straight. Eat lots of fried food, lots of ice cream, lots of just nasty stuff. Fill yourself with the grossest stuff. And how do you feel? And then 3 days following that, then feed yourself only whole foods that are sourced, quality, high source foods, fresh food, and then see how do you feel.
Mhm.
And then that's like a
Yeah.
baseline of
Mm.
that's a telling sign of what is and what isn't. And I just want to give a shout out to Lonnie Lynn, who dropped a comment in our chat. Um,
Yeah, I think I just
she
see that.
did
Yeah.
the master cleanse. We did the master cleanse together a while ago as well, and she had great results with it. So thanks, Lonnie Lynn, for sharing the live and also tapping in with the comment. We appreciate ya. And yeah, I mean, Lonnie Lynn is in the health and wellness industry as well, making big changes. And, so I know that she gets it, which is awesome. So I think in a nutshell, the things that we need to do is, one, get our mindset in the game of what really is important to us in our life. And if we want to live a life of joyful and having longevity, then we need to start with our mindset and start making better decisions about how are we nourishing ourselves. If you're unsure of how to do that, reach out. Reach out to nubo3lifestyle.com. Um, you know and utilize the resources that we have available. So after mindset, I think that it is important to again do the cleanse, or fasting. And then 3 is going to be just do it. Just do
Mm.
it and be consistent. And there's going to be times where we make bad, choices, but that's life. It's about balance. So creating structure and balance in our life is one of the keys as well. What do you guys think?
Especially, I think what you say is actually true because, as I say again, if people understand the benefit of healthy eating, because we can actually save money by spending on crap food because it's cheap, but we're still gonna spend a lot of money when we're gonna have some health issue. So you just gotta balance it. I just have to balance it. I have
Right.
people at work telling me like, I have a girl who want to lose weight at work. She always complain like, what? Even today she told me like, oh, do you know anything like, any pill I can take to actually burn my fat, like, fat burn? Why you never told me about it? I was like, I never tell you about it because I want to suggest you to go for like a healthy way. I know about it, but I don't want to suggest it because if I tell you about it, you're just gonna go through it because that's like a shortcut for you. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna make you lose, but you're gonna be like, you're gonna have a lot of things that are gonna happen in the future as well. So what I'm trying to say here is, if people, as much as they like the food, because I know processed food, as much as we want to say it's bad, but the taste, the way it tastes, anything is like is made in a way where it's gonna make you become addicted to the food.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and if you feel like you are struggling because it's good in your mind, as you say, you have to change your mindset. The only thing you have to put in your mind is, okay, it maybe tastes good, but this is actually what's going to happen. This is what happened in my body when I actually have this kind of thing. Yesterday, I went to London. On my way back, I was tired. I didn't have no food because I struggle to eat when I'm outside because most of the place there is no, I don't know if you guys struggle as well because sometimes when you're outside, you want to buy something just to eat quickly. You don't know what to buy because everything is. And I was like, oh, let me just try to get a burger. I have a burger, and I think it was like I have a burger, and I have like have water with me, but they give me Coke because as a meal, that's why it comes.
Mhm.
And I was sitting there trying to drink Coke. Trust me, I couldn't even finish it because my mind, every time I try to drink, in my mind, I'm actually figuring out what it actually does to my body.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter how good it is, straight away, if your mind is different, you won't be
Yeah.
able to even process it. And I just
Yeah.
left the food. I was like, you know what? No, I can't do this. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a mindset that we need to change. As soon as you change the mindset, if you change the way you think, if you change the way you see things, when you buy like breakfast for the kids, when you see the box, there is a nice picture or cartoon. We have to go beyond that. The reason why they put it there is just because for you to just to make you feel like it's good. It's like an ad. When you see something in the ad, it's just like you're gonna be an ad with somebody have a nice skin. It's not because the cream make the person have a nice skin.
Right.
Because the person already have a nice skin. They just use the person to lie to you like you should buy that cream. It worked the same with
All
food. So,
marketing.
yeah, it's marketing. You know, like we change our mindset. As soon as we change our mindset, we understand the game. We won't be affected by that. Anything that you do, you have to make sure you know what it does to your body. So I think that was
Mm-hmm.
actually my take. Right.
100%.
And then of course, if you need any help, you have people like Gio, myself, and the personal trainer. You have like, church as well. We're always gonna be here to help you. Just go to talk to the right people because
Yeah.
those things they don't want to teach you in school, because if they start talking about those kind of things in school, people are gonna start losing business because the whole industry is based on people consuming and spending money. And
100%.
when you spend money, they have more food, and then you get sick. They make more money because you have to buy. So it's like, I don't want to talk too much, but if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's definitely all in the mix
Yeah, that's-
of each other.
And stay hydrated, man. Drink your
Yeah.
water.
People don't like water anymore.
Right. People do
Yeah.
not like water. And I know I got a gang prevention council to go to, and that's going to be my new food for thought. But I want to say on my exit, I appreciate sharing this platform with you guys.
Thank you.
Christ, thank you for allowing us to be on your StreamYard and to be able to share this information with our audiences, combined with your audiences. And I hope that people got a lot out of it. And for anybody to be tapping in later to watch this video, however that works, please take advantage of the information. You can find me and Jill at nubo3.com. And you can follow us on YouTube channel at Nubo3 Lifestyle, I believe, and our Facebook Nubo3 Lifestyle as well. So we're here to provide information, and not just personally, but we interview and we do interactions with people that can provide a lot of powerful information. Lonnie Lynn, we're gonna have to get you on the show too to talk about what you know. Just
yeah, definitely. So I just want to say, you guys, before we go, this is actually our first live actually done with Gio and and Trait as well. So this is something that we're gonna do like once a month because they're very busy. I'm actually lucky to have them tonight. I know I didn't let you guys know about this live, but we're gonna do it like every single month. If you guys have any topic, anything, next time I want people to be more interactive. But I understand like today was like a short notice. We're gonna do it more, and I appreciate you guys for showing up. For people that wanna come after, make sure you put your comment, any question, share the live as well. I'm gonna put it back to Jill. So you're gonna be
real quick. And
Yeah,
make
bro.
sure that if you're from America and you're in the United States and you follow with us, make sure that you go and follow Phone Crease. Better
you.
Yourself podcast is very important. He got
Thank you, guys.
way more than mega information and a crap load of videos with powerful
Yeah.
interviews of people that provide you just as much substance as Jill and myself provide you with our platforms. And ultimately, we're going to combine both of these levels and provide a seminar presentation for people on a larger level. So again, Phone Christ, I appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Jill, I'm with you on your exit.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for tapping in and tuning in. And Phone Crease, we appreciate your, invitation, and we look forward to doing this on a monthly basis. And
Yes,
again, next
definitely.
month we'll really, let people know ahead of time so y'all can come and be prepared with your questions. And we love to answer questions live and have a great interaction. So this has been super fun, and looking forward to the next one. So hope that y'all have a fabulous rest of your day. And again, go check out Phone Crease's podcast, Better Yourself Podcast, and also nubo3.com. So thank you guys so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, guys. Make sure you guys stay. Don't go offline, all right?